Hey, my name's Alex. I'm 38, and on the surface, my life looked like the dream. Founder and CEO of a high-end media company, big house, fast car, money in the bank. People assumed I had it all figured out. But here's the truth nobody saw. I was burning alive inside my own success. See, my company does something unusual. We supply presents, renting people to attend political protests. Democrats, Republicans, doesn't matter. We're hired to make a movement look louder, bigger, more urgent than it really is. It's all done behind the curtain. On paper, we're a media firm. In reality, we're selling perception, packaging emotion like a product. At first, I told myself I was just filling a demand, just another cog in the political machine. Until one day, a video leaked, a whistleblower, ex-staffer. Overnight, I became the poster boy for fake outrage. Fake protesters started trending. Late-night shows ran jokes about me. Talking heads called me a threat to democracy. And the comments, "You're a parasite on free speech. Hope you sleep well selling lies for a living." This guy's the reason nobody trusts anything anymore. Thing is, it wasn't just online noise. That hate stuck. It seeped in. I couldn't turn off the shame, even when I put the phone down. One night, I came home and the house was quiet. My wife had taken our son to stay at her mom's. She texted me, "Leo's scared to go to school. Kids are saying his dad sells fake protests." I found one of his drawings on the kitchen table. Crayon sketch of the three of us, smiling. Underneath, he wrote, "I wish people didn't hate my dad." That broke me, and then came the kicker. My mom, proud, quiet, old school, looked me dead in the eye and said, "I don't even know how to explain to my friends what you do anymore." That cut deeper than any tweet ever could. At that point, I wasn't living. I was just surviving. Sleeping maybe 2 hours a night, staring at the ceiling, soaked in sweat. I'd wake up with panic pounding in my chest like a drumline. I drank just to feel something, and then drank again to feel nothing. My skin was crawling, my stomach always in knots, and every morning felt like trying to crawl out of quicksand. The business was still making money, but me, I was falling apart, quietly, slowly, one day at a time. Then came the bottom, after a closed-door session with a house committee, where they basically grilled me on whether my company was screwing up the public's ability to trust anything. I remember walking out into the hallway and seeing my reflection in a glass wall. I didn't recognize the guy staring back at me. That was the moment. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just this deep, gut-punching realization. I was not okay. That night, I started writing, journaling, not for Instagram, just to stay sane. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I needed to rebuild something real, from the ground up. Not the company, not the image. And out of that wreckage, I slowly uncovered 7 personal rules to beat burnout. Control anxiety and build long-term freedom. No fluff, no guru talk, just the real stuff I had to learn the hard way. Through shame, insomnia, and losing people I love. If you're tired of pretending you're fine, if you've hit success and realized it's not enough, if you're drowning in burnout, anxiety, and noise, this is for you. Let's get into it. So it was about a week after the whole thing blew up. The video leak, the press storm, fake protesters trending on every platform, people calling for my company to be shut down, late night hosts cracking jokes with my name in the punchline. I was still showing up to the office like nothing happened, suit on, mask tight, pretending to be in control, but inside, I was crumbling. Night. 30 pew. My kitchen, silence. I came home late that night, house dark. My wife and kid were gone. I figured they just needed space. Again, I turned on the kitchen light and saw it. A note. Folded, quiet, sitting next to a family photo that had been turned face down. Alex, this isn't about your job anymore. It's about who you've become. Jenna, and right under that note was one of my son's drawings. 3 stick figures, Mom, Leo, and me, but my face, just a big blank circle, no eyes, no smile, just nothing. Underneath, he'd written, I wish my dad came back. I swear to you. I dropped to the floor. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't even cry right away. Just sat there, stunned. I had spent years chasing more money, more contracts, more recognition, and I ended up losing the only people who actually mattered. The business was still making money. Deals were still rolling in. I had the life everyone thinks they want, but I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't feel. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. If I have all this and still feel like I'm dying inside, what the hell is the point? The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I didn't go to the office. No fake meetings, no press spin, no playing CEO. I got in the car and I drove 3 hours straight to my mom's house, where my wife and kid were staying. Leo was out in the yard, kicking a ball. He saw me, slowed down, not scared, not mad, just confused. Like, who is this guy now? I walked up, didn't say a word, just knelt down and hugged him. Tight. That was the moment. Not dramatic. I didn't want to be rich if it meant I was alone. I didn't want to win if it meant losing myself in the process. That night, I opened my journal, the one I hadn't touched in years, and I wrote this down. If success costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Read that again. Because it's not just a cute quote. It saved my life. See? I used to think success was about stacking dollars in headlines. But now, I believe success is being able to sleep at night. It's showing up to dinner without checking your phone every 45 seconds. It's knowing your kid feels safe around you. It's knowing your partner still sees you, not your stress, not your schedule. You. That's peace. And peace is the real flex. What's that one thing in your life right now that's draining your peace? That relationship, that job, that habit, that need to prove something. Is it worth the anxiety? Is it worth the distance between you and the people you love? Because here's what I learned the hard way. If it costs you your peace, it costs too damn much. You feel that. So, after that moment on the kitchen floor, after hugging my son like I was holding on for dear life, you'd think things would start looking up. They didn't, not right away. Because while I was finally slowing down the world around me, it was speeding up and gunning for blood. Every client wanted a statement. Investors. And worst of all, a headline in one outlet read, I sat in the car in front of my building, reading that on my phone, my stomach twisted. I wasn't even angry. I was just tired. Tired of being painted with a brush I no longer believed in. But then a part of me whispered, they're not entirely wrong, are they? That hurt. Because the truth was, I had blurred the lines. I had chased money over meaning. I had taken jobs just to stay ahead of the game, even when I didn't believe in what we were doing. And that's when it hit me. I can't control what the world thinks is justice, but I can damn well define what it means to me. 2 days later, I got a call from an old client, political heavyweight, tons of power. They had a job. Big check, quick turnaround. We want to stage a counter-protest. Loud, emotional, get people riled up. Doesn't need to be authentic. It just needs to drown out the other side. The kind of job I could do in my sleep. And for a moment, I almost said yes. The money would have bought silence, bought safety, bought back some favor. But I paused, and I remembered Leo's drawing, the empty face. I remembered Jenna's note. This isn't about work anymore. It's about who you've become. So I looked at my reflection in the office window. Still bruised, still tired, still standing. And I said, we're not that company anymore. Client, since when? Me, since I finally decided who I wanted to be. That call changed everything. I went back into the office, called the team in. I told them, no more smoke and mirrors. From now on, we only take jobs we believe in. Someone laughed, thought I was joking. I wasn't. We lost clients, fast. Revenue dropped. Some employees quit. We were bleeding, but for the first time, I felt clean. Define your own justice, or the world will define it for you. I stopped letting money dictate my moral compass. From then on, I only said yes to projects that aligned with what I believed was real. I stopped measuring my worth by profit margins. I reminded myself, you're not a villain just because the system is broken, unless you keep choosing to play by its rules. That's when my anxiety finally eased. Not because I had less to do, but because I wasn't at war with myself anymore. Where in your life have you been told what success or justice should look like? But deep down, it doesn't sit right with your soul. What would it look like if you rewrote the rules? If you said, this is my line, this is who I am, this is where I stop bending. Because listen, the world will call you names. They'll say you're a fraud, a failure, a villain. They'll crucify you for not playing the game the way they want. But here's the thing. If you want to beat burnout, if you want to feel free, you have to stop waiting for the world to give you permission to be who you are. You have to define your own justice. So here's the thing. They don't tell you about trying to do the right thing. After I turned down that big shady client, after I drew my line in the sand, I thought I'd feel proud, strong, redeemed, even. But instead, I felt hollow. No meetings, no PR fire, no clients calling, just silence. He opens the fridge, empty, checks his inbox, quiet, opens the news. His name is still trending, not in a good way. He looks in the mirror, still that same tired face, still the same tightness in the chest, Still waking up at 4 a.m. with no reason. What now? What if I did the right thing? And it still doesn't fix anything. And that's when it hit me. I had cut myself loose from the machine, from the money, but I had also cut myself off from something I didn't even realize I'd lost. My own trust in me. You see, for years, I let systems define my safety. The political machine, the media machine, the money machine. As long as they were running and I was in them, I felt secure, successful. But when the scandal broke and those systems bailed, so did my identity. And it turns out, when your whole life is built on external structures and they crumble, you crumble too. So one morning, I did something radical, not press-worthy, not headline material, just simple. I put on a pair of running shoes, dusty, barely used, and went outside. Not to train, not to lose weight, just to move, just to breathe. I ran for 7 minutes, then walked for 10. My lungs burned, my legs ached, but for the first time in months, I felt alive. Next day, I added 10 minutes of meditation, hard as hell. My mind wouldn't shut up, racing like a news ticker from hell, but I kept showing up. Then I picked up a book on ethical business models, then one on psychology, then one on negotiation, not for politics, but for startup founders, bit by bit, day by day. I stopped being a man trying to fix a scandal and started becoming a man rebuilding his foundation. Build self-trust, not just system trust, because systems break, clients ghost you, public opinion flips on a dime. But if you have self-trust, if you know how to regulate your mind, your body, your focus, then no scandal, no economy, no headlines can take that from you. Here's what I'll ask you. When everything around you falls apart, can you still count on you? Not the job title, not the resume, not the social proof. You. If the answer is no, that's okay. That's where I started too. But go for a run, sit in silence. Read something that feeds your brain instead of frying it. Because building trust in yourself, that's the only investment guaranteed to grow no matter what the market does. That's rule 3. It didn't make me a hero. It didn't erase the past, but it gave me the one thing I hadn't had in years, a reason to believe in my own future. Even after I started rebuilding, after I was running, meditating, and making better decisions, the noise didn't stop. There was this one article, headline screaming across a major news site. From puppet master to publicity stunt. Is Alex Rivers' redemption just another scam? It went viral. Again, and I'll be honest, for a moment, I crashed. That headline punched through all the self-work I'd done like it was paper thin. My stomach dropped, hands shaking, chest tight, like I was back at square one. Old Alex would have shut down for a month. No calls, no eye contact. Just vodka, takeout, and scrolling through hate comments until I couldn't feel anymore. But this time, I closed the article, took 3 deep breaths, walked outside barefoot, sat down in the grass, and whispered, "This is just a wave. It doesn't mean the whole ocean is poisoned." That was the moment I realized something powerful. Growth doesn't mean you stop getting hit. It means you recover faster. So I built a habit. Bad news. Walk it off. Literally. Mean comment. 3-breath rule. Gut punch headline. Remind myself it's a moment, not a life sentence. It wasn't magic, but it worked. Shorten the refractory period. That space between impact and recovery, that's where peace is built. What's your go-to reaction when things go wrong? And what if, just once, you tried responding instead of spiraling? Next time the storm hits, don't try to stop it. Just don't let it stay longer than it needs to. I saw someone from a past campaign, a client who ghosted me when things got ugly, publicly trashing me on a podcast, calling me a liar, saying I manipulated entire elections, saying I orchestrated deception for profit. I saw red. I wanted revenge. I drafted emails. I called lawyers. I even typed out a 20-part tweet thread that would have taken him apart. And then I stopped because I realized if I fight fire with fire, all I'm left with is smoke and ashes. So instead of fighting, I funneled. I took that same rage and donated to a local education initiative in my hometown. Then I funded a literacy program in a rural community where protesters had once been staged. I didn't announce it. No press, no selfies, just purpose. Balance rage with purpose. Let anger wake you, not ruin you. Let it point you toward what matters. Ask yourself, what are you still angry about? And what would it look like to do something useful with it instead of just carrying it? After the media branded me as un-American, I carried this guilt like a brick tied to my chest. They said I corrupted democracy, that I betrayed the country. And for a long time, I believed them. Until one day, I heard this from my therapist, Alex. You don't owe this country shame. You owe it your best self. Boom, that hit hard. So I started treating self-care like a quiet kind of rebellion. I went to bed at 10. I swapped bourbon for green tea. I did yoga. I sucked at first. Still do. But every stretch, every breath, every decent meal, it felt like I was raising a flag on my own little corner of the world. Redefine patriotism as self-care, because loving your country doesn't mean dying for it. Sometimes it just means staying healthy enough to keep showing up as a better version of you. Try asking, what if self-care isn't selfish? What if it's how you reclaim power in a world trying to wear you down? You don't need a second chance. You need a new chance, one you give yourself. Let's be real. For a while, I kept waiting for the world to forgive me. I thought if I cleaned up my act, if I said the right things, if I laid low long enough, maybe they'd let me back in. But the truth, they won't. The internet doesn't have a memory. It has a scar tissue, and it doesn't forget. So I stopped waiting and started building. I broke up my savings, launched a small investment fund focused on sustainable startups. I started writing a book, telling the truth about the industry I helped create, not to expose anyone, just to own my story before someone else wrote it for me. I downsized my house, cut my expenses, and guess what? I slept better in a 2-bedroom rental than I ever did in a mansion. Create your own future. Don't wait for the world to hand you back your past. Redemption isn't granted, it's built, one honest decision at a time. Final question. What are you still waiting for? Permission, forgiveness, proof that you're good enough? Screw that. Make your own door. Walk through it. So there you have it. 7 personal rules I learned the hard way. Rules that pulled me out of burnout, helped me manage anxiety, and gave me real, lasting freedom. Not freedom from work, but freedom to live with clarity, peace, and purpose. So that's my story. 7 rules I had to learn the hard way. Not from books, Not from seminars, not from gurus, but from losing my peace, losing my family, and almost losing myself. And here's what I know now. Success without peace isn't success. Money without meaning is just noise. And freedom, it doesn't come from the world forgiving you. It comes from you forgiving yourself enough to start again. If there's one thing I want you to take with you, it's this: you are not your past. You are what you choose to build next. I don't know where you're at right now. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you're quietly falling apart while everyone thinks you've got it all together. But if my story proves anything, it's that you can crawl out of that hole. One choice, one breath, one rule at a time. And hey, if this hit home for you, if you want more raw, unpolished truths like this, stick around. This is The Truth MD. No filters, no fluff. Just the stuff most people are too scared to say out loud. Hit follow. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And let's keep building a community where honesty actually matters. Because if we can't tell the truth here, where else can we